Sir, which subject you are taking now?
Which you want? According to the timetable, it is HR analytics, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Did you see the timetable?
No, sir, I got confused.
No, it's time. Okay, so I'm taking HR analytics now. Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can everybody come in the video mode, please? Okay, we'll wait for another 2 minutes for some people to join because there are hardly 7 to 8 people now. Okay, how many of you are have you taken marketing also as specialization, marketing HR? Can you just unmute if anybody has taken marketing HR as a specialization here?
So me,
Akila, can you just tell me how much portion has MB Patil sir completed in service marketing? Any idea?
sir, I guess he has completed 4 units, sir. So only
Oh,
fifth and sixth are remaining. Yes,
sure.
sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. The fourth he is completing or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm getting
Do you have?
confused between the subjects.
Okay. Do you have the notes of service marketing, whatever he has covered?
Yes, sir. Some PDFs he had sent, sir, on the group.
Okay. And just check out and let me know. Okay, because he
Yes, sir.
suddenly left and you know what has happened. So I need to continue with that particular syllabus. So I just wanted to know how much he has covered, and I'll be continuing with the
Yes,
remaining
sir.
part. Just 1 or 2 units which are remaining. I'll be covering those modules.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just let me know. Anyways, next class is service marketing. I'll be talking to you all in that particular class itself. Okay. But in the meanwhile, if you can just find out, you it would be helpful to me. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, guys. So we'll be starting with HRA module 3. We'll be completing the module today. Okay, and in the next class we'll be starting with module number 4. Okay. Now you might be feeling like, is it very slow? Yeah. Don't worry about the pace. Okay. We will be completing the syllabus before time. Okay. Just we are discussing in detail all the parts of a particular module, so it is taking a bit of time for HR analytics. Okay, and it's a completely new subject, guys. It's not like your traditional HR subjects like recruitment, selection, and compensation. A bit different, which is more towards statistics, and also it is taking a bit of time. So if you have any doubt, if you have a doubt about sir whether sir would be able to complete the syllabus or no, do not have that doubt. Okay, I'm known for completing syllabus. Okay, so I'll be able to complete the syllabus. Don't worry about it. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah,
In question papers, sir, for HR analytics.
what you want?
So question papers, sir.
Paper means previous year question paper. You're saying
Last year, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
a final exam question paper you want?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll just try to find out.
Third sem HR analytics.
No, if I get it, I'll definitely
Yes,
share
sir.
the
Yes,
PDF
sir.
with you all. Okay. No problem. We'll be able to get it. Not a issue at all.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So
Thank you,
once I
sir.
get the paper, I'll share it with you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So just confirm if you can see the slide. I'll be sharing the slide now. Okay. Is the slide visible, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So I don't know how many of you remember, but in the previous class, we had started with this HR analytics third unit. Not started with, but we've discussed a lot about predictive analysis. Okay. And in predictive analysis, if you remember, we had done this part where we tried to study what is regression, what is correlation, and what is structural equation modeling, SEM. The structural equation modeling was this, what we studied in the previous class, which I told you that it talks about the direct and the indirect impact of a variable on a dependent variable. Okay, then we also went on to do what are the various HR analytics tools. So the most important tool that we use in HR analytics is the matrix, okay, which is a quantitative assessment, and it is used for comparing and tracking performance. And there are three types of matrix that we prepare. One is the efficiency matrix, which talks about whether okay, I'll ask you this question: what is efficiency matrix, guys? Let me check. Let me see if you remember things. What is efficiency matrix? Anyone? Anyone, guys? Come on. What is it? What is efficiency matrix? What is effectiveness matrix? What is impact matrix? We've studied this in the previous class.
So efficiency metrics is,
Yes.
am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So efficiency metrics is how you are performing.
How you are performing. Very
It says,
nice.
yeah.
Yes. It
Then
talks about
effective metrics say, yeah. Then effective metrics talks about how effective it is on one another.
how effective a particular program is on the other thing. Yes,
One
definitely.
another. Yeah.
Okay.
Then impact on metrics is what impact this had on desirable metrics.
Very good. Desirable performance or desirable process.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Very
sir.
nice. Very nice. Yes. Akshita has raised a hand. Akshita, you also can give in your inputs. Akshita?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, efficiency metrics are used for measuring companies' ability, sir.
Very nice. Measuring
Okay.
ability or performance. Yes. Normally it is performance, Akshita, not ability, but it talks about the results. So performance.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Then effectiveness metrics. Akshita, can you hear me? Akshita, you there?
Yes, sir. As Ashwini told, that's only, sir.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Okay, so efficiency
Okay.
metrics talks about the performance of a particular company, how the company is performing. Okay, whereas effectiveness metric talks about the effect of one particular process on some other process, or let's say effect of training on the employee performance. That is what effectiveness metric talks about. Then impact is also quite similar to effectiveness metrics, where that also talks about the extent to which a particular thing may have an impact on other. Okay, that is what as impact metrics, where you try to find out how much impact will one decision have on some other decision. Okay, so that is what impact metrics talks about. Then the various metrics used for HR analytics is, first is monthly turnover rates. Okay, how many employees, number of separation during the month, and average number of employees etc. So that is basically a percentage of how many people left the organization divided by number of employees in your organization into 100 will give you the monthly turnover rate. Yield ratio is basically the percentage of applications for recruitment source. Um, so that basically gives you how much yield, how much you are yielding from a particular human resource. Then revenue per employee, how much the total revenues divided by number of employees will give you revenue per employee. Human capital cost is basically the total cost divided by total human capital. Okay, so total cost incurred on human resource divided by total capital will give you human capital cost. Okay, or if you want to just find out the total cost, you just go on adding the salaries, the perquisites, etc., etc., all those benefits that you're giving to the employee. The addition of that will give you the human capital cost. Okay, then HR to staff ratio. Okay, basically employees divided by the HR team. How many total employees are there divided by total number of HR. Okay, the entire team will give you HR to staff ratio. How many HRs are there for one staff, or for 10 staff there is one HR. That ratio would be given by HR staff ratio. And cost to hire is basically the training, etc., divided by the training cost, or the advertising cost, or the recruitment cost divided by the employee salary will give you the cost to hire. Okay, so these are the various metrics that are used in HR analytics. There are many more. The list is infinite. You can have n number of other metrics, but these are some of the examples that are used in HR analytics. Okay, now again I am stressing on this point. When I say matrix doesn't only means those tabular formats. Okay, matrix can be a formula also. It is basically to find out a particular results. Okay, you want to find out some inferences. So for that you use a matrix. So matrix may not always be a tabular format. It may be a formula, it may be a graph, it may be a tabular format. It can be anything. Okay, so that comes into matrix. Okay, next one that we're going to study is regression analysis. Though you have studied this regression analysis in detail in business analytics in the second semester, I guess. Okay, but let's try to understand this in detail and how is it related to HR analytics here. Okay, so whenever we talk about analytics, okay, the most important tool that we use is regression. Okay, regression is a very important tool. Okay, and there is a software also. There is a software called as R. If you have heard about this R software, that is basically the most powerful software that can be used now in predictive analysis. Okay, and R stands for regression. Okay, so regression is a very powerful tool for predicting something. Okay, if you want to find out something in future, then you can use regression. Okay, so basically what does regression do? It is calculate dependent variable from various independent variables. So you want to calculate a dependent variable from various set of independent variables. That is what is regression basically. Okay, so you're predicting again. Okay, for example, you want to predict the demand for a particular product. Okay, so to find out the demand for a particular product, there are various variables which affect the demand. Okay, like it may be price, it may be income, it may be the substitutes. Okay, it may be the economy, the level in the inflation rates, etc. Okay, so all these variables together will help you to find out the demand for a particular product. Okay, so that is what regression analysis is. So it tries to create a relationship between different independent variables and their impact on the dependent variable. So that is what regression analysis is. So if you remember in the previous class, I had drawn an equation. Okay, I don't remember for what it was. Okay, let me guess. Can somebody tell me? I don't remember the equation that I had drawn. Okay, it was related to price only, I guess. Okay, what would be the price for the product if, am I right? Can somebody recall?
So price of a product based on the demand and supply.
Yes, right. Okay, so it was a demand and supply, which were the independent variables, and price was a dependent variable, right? So we tried to find out the equation, and then we drawn, and I took an example also, and I showed you what would be the price if demand and supply is X and Y is the demand and supply, then what would be the price. Okay, so that is how regression helps us in predicting what the desired variable. Okay, so basically the classification of regression can be a simple regression that I had drawn in the previous uh, class. That was a simple regression. Then multiple regression, simple regression is just one variable. Okay, if there is only one variable, then it is called as a simple regression. Like demand depends on price, so price and demand, only these two variables are considered. Demand is a dependent variable, price is an independent variable, let's say, and we try to draw a equation on that. That becomes a simple regression equation. Okay, when there are only two variables. Multiple regression means there are more independent variables and there is one dependent variable. Then we call it as a multiple regression. Okay, there are more independent variable and there is only one dependent variable. Okay, for example, let's say price depends on demand, supply, income level, substitute products, okay, inflation rates, etc. So when we have five independent variable which will affect one dependent variable, that is price, then we call it as a multiple regression. Okay, then we have something called as a linear regression. Linear is a linear line. Linear means straight line. Okay, so when we are drawing an equation and it gives you a straight line, then we call it as a linear regression. Okay, so your what was that? Just give me a second. Okay, least square method. Okay, when you do the least square method, okay, y is equal to na plus b. Okay, na plus bx, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is called as a
Y is equal
linear
to ax
because
plus
it is a straight line. Okay, y is equal to na plus or a plus bx, not na plus bs. Y is equal to a plus bx, right? So that is a linear line, okay, which gives you a straight line. Okay, so if your regression equation, uh, just a minute, we have annotations here. Yes. Okay, yeah. So see, y is equal to n sorry a plus bx. Okay, this was the equation that you had drawn, okay, in the trend analysis, like linear trend analysis. So this is called as a linear trend because it will give you a straight line. Okay, when you draw this, it will give you a straight line, whereas there are some equations which are non-linear, that you may get a curve like this. Okay, a curve something like this. Okay, or it may be a curve like this, or a curve something like this also. So when it is non-linear, okay, they are it is called as, sorry, did the slide change? Okay, so whenever you draw a curve, whenever you get a curve, okay, instead of a straight line, then that is called as a non-linear regression. Okay, so that is how you define linear regression and non-linear regression. Okay, so these are the different types of regression analysis, starting from your simple regression analysis to a multiple regression analysis to linear to non-linear. So are you clear with all these types of analysis? Yes, are you clear with the classification? Simple means one variable, multiple means n number of variables. Okay, then linear means a straight line, whereas non-linear is a curve. It is not a straight line. Okay, so that is how we classify the regression. And so it depends on the relationship, guys. It is always depends on how that independent variable has a relationship with a dependent variable. So it can be an exponential relation also. Okay, it can be a logarithmic relation also, so which becomes non-linear. Okay, linear are a straight line, as I said. Okay, so it's just as example says, a is equal to a plus bx. Okay, so you, whatever values you give in that, you will start getting a straight line itself. Okay, it is either increasing or decreasing, but or it would be constant, but it would be a straight line. That is called as a linear regression, or linear relationship, we call it as. Whereas if you are getting a curve kind of structure, whether it is increasing or decreasing, okay, then we call it as a non-linear equation or a non-linear regression analysis. Okay, so that is how we classify the regression analysis. Okay, so maybe whenever I'm drawing a dashboard later, okay, I'll show you how to draw a linear model or a non-linear model in Excel. Okay, so are you clear with this now? A brief idea about what is regression and what are these different classifications of regression? Are you clear with that? Yes, no? Okay, if it is yes, please give a thumbs up. Are you all understanding, guys? Are you following? Okay, great. Okay, Yes. So let's move on to the next part, that is uses of regression analysis. Now, where all it is used? First of all, it is used to find out the relationship between two or more variables. Yes, though correlation is there, but regression helps you in finding out how much are they related to each other. Correlation just gives you whether they are positively related or negatively correlated, or there is no relation at all. But regression will give you how much are they related. Okay, like one variable is dependent on another variable to the extent of this percentage. Okay, that is called as regression. So relationship between two variables can be found out using regression analysis. Then useful for calculation of correlation, coefficient of determination. Yes, whenever you draw a regression analysis, you also get to know what is R represents correlation, so how much are they related to each other. And coefficient of determination is, listen to me very carefully, a bit confusing, but try to understand. Okay, how much effect does one variable has on the other variable. Okay, like 90% of the variation in price is determined by demand. Okay, 90% of the variation is price is because of demand. When I say this, I'm talking about coefficient of determination. Okay, so 90% of your weight depends on the food intake. So when I say 90%, that is called as coefficient of determination. Okay, how much one variable determines the another variable. So that also can be found out using a regression analysis. Okay, then used for quality control. Yes, regression can be definitely used for quality control, because you need to find out what would be the quality of your product if these changes happen in the variables. Okay, your input variables, your process, you're making changes in your inputs, you're making changes in your processes. So when you make those changes, what would be the impact of that on the quality of the product can be found out using regression analysis, because you have the past data, and from the past data you can understand the relationship between the process, between the inputs, okay, and the quality. Okay, if I add 10% of iron, what would be the quality? If I add 20% of aluminum, what would be the quality? If I add 5% of copper, what would be the quality? So when I do this, I have different values, and from that I can predict, okay, now 10% of this, 10% of this, 5% of this, and then I say, okay, this would be the quality. So I can predict the quality. So it can be used in quality control also. And then estimation, definitely most of the common uses of regression is to estimate demand, supply, and price. Okay, that's the most common use of regression analysis. So even in case of stock markets also, many people use regression analysis to find out what would be the price of the stock in future to take the investment decisions. So these are the uses of regression analysis. Okay, so are you clear with this? Understanding, not understanding? If you are understanding, please give a thumbs up, guys, quickly. Okay, great, fine. So can now the question, okay, let's just take a break over here. I want you to answer me now. Can somebody tell me what are the uses of regression analysis in HR? Okay, let us relate it to HR. These are very general in nature. Okay, these are the uses in general. Now I want you to be very specific to HR. How can you relate regression analysis to HR?
So it helps to compare the relationship between the employer and employees, the work done by the quality work done by each employees,
Okay,
one employee to another employee.
okay, fair enough. So it's for comparison, you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, might be sometimes, yes. Okay, any other input? Any other input, guys? There are 19 people who are there in the class now. Yes, Swapnil?
So to predict turnover,
Predict the turnover. Can you elaborate on that?
and there could be some factors which the employees are unhappy about. In the past, some employees say suppose there is some bad working condition
Okay.
in a particular department, so that bad working condition could result in the turnover of employees.
Correct.
I mean they will leave the organization because of that.
Right. Okay, so that may be one use of regression analysis to find out what kind of working conditions will affect the employees positively or negatively. Am I right, Swapnil?
Yes, sir.
Okay, or what kind of working conditions will have an impact on the employee
Keep them
turnover?
longer.
Correct?
Like improvement in those working conditions would keep them longer.
Improvement, how will that improvement impact the turnover of the employees? Okay, so yes, that can be also one of the uh, areas where you can use regression analysis. Anything else?
So based on the past performances of the employee, we can predict the future performances, and based on which we can take a decision whether to retain the underperforming employee or to fire the employee.
Okay, great, great. Okay, so that is where, yes, definitely we can use regression analysis to find out what would be you can predict the performance of a particular individual um, in future, and you can take decisions accordingly. Yes, you can do that. But I'm looking for one specific answer. I'm looking for that answer. I don't know who will give that. Let's see. I'll wait for another 2-3 minutes for your answers, guys. Whatever answers you have given so far, yes, they are right. But I am looking for one answer where regression is definitely useful for HR. Anyone?
So quality control in the organization.
Um, okay, can you go ahead, Rohan?
So quality of an every employee is necessary in an organization, that how they work. Based on that, they will get their extra bonuses or fringe benefits.
Okay.
Even the employees are given the best week employee of the organization or something.
No.
We
But
can compare different
how is
employees based on their
regression-
quality.
How is regression
So we
coming?
can apply this quality control in the organizations with the help of regression analysis.
Mm, okay, fair enough. Um, but still,
So it can help us to estimate manpower requirement.
perfect. I was looking for that answer. Yes, it helps us to know how much manpower would require in future. Okay, depending on the previous trends of productions, maybe, or previous trend of expansion. Okay, the market demand, etc. You can definitely predict how much human resource would be required in future, and that is what is the main intention of regression analysis, guys. Okay, that is where regression is extensively used to estimate the manpower requirements, which is on a day or on a yearly basis. Every year you require manpower, right? And to estimate how much manpower would require, regression plays a very important role. Perfect answer over there. I guess Rashmi gave that answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so that is how regression analysis is used in HR. Okay, let's move on to the last part of this particular module, that is causation. Okay, causation very much similar to correlation, but it is different. Okay, now what is causation is, it is the capacity of one variable to influence another variable. Okay, so how much does one variable influence the another variable? So if you will say that, sir, it is like correlation only. No, correlation does not give you the hidden variables. Okay, causation will help you to find out the hidden variables. Okay, like for example, let's say, okay, let's take a simple example. Okay, okay, um, your HBC count, that is your hemoglobin count is decreasing. So it's let's say, what is that? Dengue. Okay, so the disease is dengue because of, let's say, HB count is decreasing, so it's dengue is what people doctors normally predict. Okay, so this is correlation. Okay, if your HB count decreases, there are chances that you have dengue, you have infected with dengue. Okay, that is correlation. But when you find out that, okay, HBC count is decreasing, and there is one more variable which is leading to that decrease, that variable, that hidden variable, when you find out that, okay, and then you try to relate these three things, that is dengue, HB count, and that hidden variable, then you call it as a causation. Okay, so you try to find out the real um, impact, or the root cause of that particular problem. Okay, that is what is causation. So causation means that one event causes another event to occur. Okay, causation can only be determined from an appropriately designed experiment. Okay, so there should be a proper experiment should be done to find out the relationship between that unknown variable. You don't know that variable, so you try to find out that variable. That is called as causation. It's not the two variables are given and you just find out whether it is increasing or decreasing, whether it is positive or negative. That is correlation. Causation is finding out that hidden variable. Okay, so in such experiments, similar groups receive different treatments. Okay, and the outcomes of each groups are studied. We can only conclude that the treatment causes an effect if the groups have noticeable different outcomes. Okay, so what happens here is, normally this is how causation is defined. There are, let's say, 3 sets of groups, and each set of group is given different treatment. Okay, then they try to find out the effect of that treatment on the groups, and when they find out the changes in the groups, then they try to find out because of what the change has happened, and that is what causation is. What causes the change? Okay, why is the hemoglobin coming down? That cause is called as causation. So when you try to find out that is where you're doing causation. Okay, you're trying to find out the real cause of a particular problem. Okay, that is what causation is. Okay, so there is something called as a causal modeling, where you say it can find hidden root cause of a problem and make a business proposition for human capital investment. Okay, so that is where causation comes into picture, where you try to find out the hidden cause for a particular problem. Okay, like you say, okay, employees in the organization, employees leaving the organization. Okay, so let's say quality, training and quality. Okay, let's take this example. Let's not take the retention example. Okay, training is one and quality is another. Okay, so training increases, quality increases, training decreases, quality is decreasing. Fine, that is correlation. But when you try to find out, okay, because of training, what is really happening, and because of that, the quality is increasing and decreasing. So what is really happening, that hidden thing, okay, that is called as causation. Okay, so when you try to find out that hidden variable which is really impacting the working, that is what causation is. Okay, I'll give you a very simple example in terms of your mobile, guys. Okay, let's say you're unable to type message, or your screen is hanged. Okay, so screen is hanged, you're not able to type the message. So these are the two variables. Okay, now you know when the screen hangs or the screen gets stuck, you cannot type the message. Okay, so this is a pure relation, positive relationship. Fine, that is correlation. But screen is getting stuck, you're not able to type the message because of the RAM in your mobile. So when you find out that the RAM in your mobile is less, okay, you don't have a 4 GB RAM, you just have a 2 GB or a 1 GB RAM in your mobile. So your mobile is getting stuck because there is a lot of things that you have put into your mobile. Then when you find out that RAM capacity of your RAM, that is causation. You're trying to find out why it is really happening. What is the root cause of it? Okay, your mobile may be good, it might be a new mobile, then why it is getting stuck, why you're not able to send the messages. Okay, then when you find out, okay, the capacity of the RAM is itself is very low, so I'm getting all these problems. That is where you use causation. Okay, to finding out the root cause of a problem, finding out that hidden variable, why, what is really happening. Okay, so that is what causation is. Okay, so this was the last part of your predictive analysis, where we tried to find out regression, multiple regression, okay, structural equation modeling, correlation and causation. Any doubts in this? Any questions on causation, guys? Are you clear with what is causation? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is what I wanted to deal with today. We are left with around 5 minutes now. I'm free to, I'm open to questions. So you can ask any questions related to this particular module of HR analytics, basics of HR analytics and predictive analysis. Okay, so if there are any doubts, any questions, you are free to ask this question, and we can have a discussion, not a problem at all. Okay, the next module is quite simple, where we are trying to deal with data, which you have already dealt in business analytics. Okay, where you tried to find out, or not business analytics, but research methods. Exclusively in research methods, you have to you have seen data, your second sources of data, your primary data, secondary data, where data is used, how the data is collected, etc. So the same thing is what we're going to study in the next unit. Okay, that is your fourth unit. Okay, so I don't think it will take much time to complete that particular unit. It's a very small unit. Okay, and then we'll go on with the next part, that is dashboards and the later stage. Okay, so any doubts so far? We have completed 3 units now. Okay, I know we are going a bit slow, but no issues at all. We'll be able to complete the syllabus as I've told you in the at the beginning of this class. Okay, so don't worry about the completion of the syllabus. My worry is whether you are understanding it or no. So if you have understood whatever has been dealt so far, please give a thumbs up. Okay, and I'll end the class. If no, if you have any doubts, please go ahead and ask your doubts. Are you clear with whatever has been taught so far in HR Analytics? Who is this? Call me daddy. Who is this? Call me daddy. Okay, fine. So, yeah, Rohin, anything?
Sir, even in DJK, sir, someone came like a home delivery, then again something, and they were like song where they were playing songs in that
Okay,
playing songs also.
fine. It started now here also. Okay, so that is the reason why we ask you all to come in the video mode. Okay, and next time if somebody is doing this, okay, we can remove you from the meeting, and you will not be once we remove you, you will not be able to log in again. So do not play all these mischiefs. Okay, if anybody is doing that, if there's somebody else, then we cannot help it out. We'll just remove that particular person from the meeting, and once he is removed, he will not be able to join back the meeting again. Okay, that is the reason, he or she, whoever it is. Okay, so uh, that's it from my side. I don't think there is any doubt in this particular module that we have covered. Okay, so I'll end the meeting for today. From in tomorrow's class, we'll be continuing with the next unit, that is unit number 4, which talks about insight into data driven HR analytics. So data driven HR analytics, okay, is what we are going to study in the next class. Okay, so thank you. And we'll be joining immediately for those who have taken for marketing as their specialization. Will be joining immediately after this class for service marketing. Okay, so I'll be ending the meeting now, and in another 2-3 minutes I'll be starting the marketing class. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.